In this tutorial, I will show you how to properly format a graph using LoggerPro. As an example, I will be using the diameter, radius, circumference, and area of circles. To make a graph, you must first enter the data into the data table. So you should watch my video titled Making a Data Table in LoggerPro for instructions on how to do that. If your data is linear, you will apply a linear fit to your data. Here, the circumference versus diameter data shows a linear trend, so I'm going to apply a linear fit. The simplest way to do this is to click the linear fit button. You can also find a linear fit in the curve fit menu. In a lab, you may be asked to include the uncertainty in your slope. To do this, click the box that displays the equation of your best fit line and click the box that says Show Uncertainty. If you need to make additional graphs to analyze additional relationships between different variables, then you can add a graph by pulling down the Insert menu and selecting Graph. The graph will show what data is plotted on each axis. If you need to change what variable is displayed on a particular axis, simply click the axis title to change that variable. Maybe we want to see how the radius of the circle relates to the circle's area. I will change the horizontal axis to radius and the vertical axis to area. Notice that the data set here is not linear. To apply a best fit curve, I will need to click Curve Fit, which brings up this menu. You will need to select what general equation that LoggerPro will apply to your data. 9 times out of 10, you're going to select a power fit. Once you've selected the appropriate equation, click Try Fit. If the curve seems to fit the data well, then you can click OK. The last thing that we need to do is format the graph for aesthetics. You will need to click the Auto Scale button so that your data fills the entire area of your graph. You can also change the scale of the axis by hovering your cursor over the top of it, and when it becomes an arrow, you can drag the axis left or right, or if it becomes a one-sided arrow like you see here, you can shrink it down or stretch it out. But usually the best thing to do is just to click the Auto Scale button. If you're going to include your graph in a lab report, you should resize it so that the data is bigger in relation to the size of your graph. Simply drag one of the corners to make the graphic area smaller. I know that sounds unintuitive, but by making the graph smaller, you make all the text and data bigger in proportion to the graph size. To transfer the graph into a Google Doc or submit it on Schoology, you're going to need to take a screenshot of the graph area. On a Mac, you can take a screenshot by pressing Command-Shift-4, and on a PC, you can use the snipping tool to take a screenshot of your graph. Alternatively, you can right-click on your graph and click Copy, and then you can paste that into a Google Doc or into a Word document.